Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special tuning and skiff replacement, a knife that was actually loaned to me, and the person would like me to put in skiffs, and I believe I have some now, and I was waiting for them to come in, and here they are. And this is the small VBR. It's in the lava flow fat carbon. So let's take a look. We've already done an unboxing on this knife, and we'll do a review as well, but I wanted to put in the skiff washers on this thing right now. So so here is the knife. Make sure I put all the stuff off to the side. Stay over there. Stay. All right. So this is the small VBR, and I think it takes a certain size. So I do have my skiff washers right here. So let's get into this. I believe this is T8s everywhere. I'll just confirm. T8s. Yeah, so I always want to have a nice stubby screwdriver so you can get in there very easily. I'm not sure if it's captive. It looks like it might not be, so I'll have to have a second one. Now that's interesting. That's really inset in there. It's not coming out, so I'm just going to leave that alone. All right. So in order to get to this, we have two more screws, and these are going to be T6s. So what I'm doing is wiggling it to kind of get it loose, being just ever so gentle. There we go. Those pins are in there good. Very good. All right, so this is the stop pin. We'll make sure I don't lose that. We'll do a little cleaning in here. We have a little washer right here. Take that off. Now he wanted me to tune this a little bit so it would be a little more drop shutty. It's not bad. It is, like I said in my unboxing, this is definitely going to be on the crazy tighter side. This is something Kevin from Lift EDC, he probably would really enjoy. I find that a bit challenging, especially when you've got a flipper that you want to be able to enjoy. It was slipped a few times, so it wasn't very comfortable, so I'll say that. So let's check the pivot. All right, so that's 5mm. 5mm pivot, and we'll see probably 1/16. Yeah, 1/16. So 5mm 1/16. I should have those. Now we're cleaning off the blade. It does have a nice little ramp. You see that? Nice little ramp there? That's cool. It's a nice little touch. I always like it when they do that. It looks like this got polished up for the track. That's pretty cool. I mean, either that or it's just worn in, but it looks more like it was polished up. Okay. That's nice and clean. Now he did want me, like I said, wanted me to tune it. You can see it's pretty far up there. It's almost all the way up there. So in order to get that off, I need to get this off, and that is a millimeter torque bit. So let's go with that. Now, sometimes these come off easy, sometimes they don't. Okay, this looks like it's moving. It's good. So when it's a little challenging like that, what I can do, it's going to come out easily, but it's resisting. So I used a screw to pull it straight up. I have a better angle to get to it. All right. So what I want to do is I want to find an even length. So what I do is I try to figure out, okay, how far can I go? I just want very, very little. This is very careful, okay? So you can see this is like an inset frame lock. All right, I think that's enough. I don't want to do too much. Very little. I'll use that screw to put it back in. Perfect. I'll unscrew it. I'd rather do just a little bit. There's one of these pivots where it's not tight on one side, which means I would prefer to put a little Loctite in there, because you're going to have that travel. We don't want that. Now I want to clean off the washers. Well, these are the washers between titanium case, or not speak here, titanium scales and a knife. In between you have the cage bearings. So let's just see how dirty these guys are. Not too terribly dirty. Just a little drop of oil. That's our blade stop pin. So you always want to make sure, are these the same length? And if they're not, you've got to make sure you know which one goes in first, right? So we have one that's longer and one that's shorter. So typically the longer one's going to be the further one further back, because it's trying to go through the entire the scale and into this backspacer. This fat carbon wasn't completely on top of that little pin stop back there. Sorry, lanyard loop, whatever you want to call it. Maybe the longer one goes in first. Let's see. I guess that would make sense when I think about it. It's a little longer there, it's a little shorter there. This one wasn't all the way in. That's why I don't like to over tighten and just go crazy. I want to make sure everything fits. Everything is together smooth. We don't force anything. We don't tighten things down until we're all set and everything looks good and centered. I don't ever do that because I don't want to damage a knife. I mean, I don't want to damage my knife, but I certainly don't want to damage somebody else's knife. Still extremely, extremely strong detent, I have to tell you. I don't have any clear O-rings, but I'm going to try something because it has little spots where I can put some O-rings on. And I will suggest to the gentleman who will borrow this knife that he might get some clear or maybe some red ones. I mean, I don't know, maybe red will actually match this one because it's lava flow, so let's give it a shot. Can't hurt, right? And you saw some clear ones, but they're really discolored from, because they're old. I don't want to put old ones on a new knife like this. I can finally. So can I do it? So I can reverse flick it now. Just gotta figure out where the spot is. I don't think it's gonna work as well like this because it's still, boy, that detent ball is in there really good. Sometimes that detent ball has a little bit of a burr or something on there. It makes it just a little bit tougher. And sometimes it just wears in a little bit. But man, it's a strong one for sure. It's a nice right angle. If you get it right here, see if we get it right there. That's where it's going to release. But that detent ball is really, it is in there good. So, excuse me, what I did is on my Leon Ma field duty, I think they made that snappier detent by making that hole maybe a little more perpendicular to where the ball comes in, and so the ball has a more or higher angle to go over as opposed to a lesser angle, right? This is one of these knives that you've got to make sure you get in the right spot or you can rip the skin off your finger because it's so strong. But I think in time, in the way, if the guy who's watching this, whose knife it is, you can kind of work that detent ball a little bit now, so you don't get your finger all raw. You might want to put a little something over there because it's pretty strong. Pretty strong little guy here for sure. Let's get this in here. That's better. Now, if you find this too loose, you can tighten it. I did bend this out a little bit. I'd probably say about 30% from what it was before. It feels better. Still extremely snappy. I don't have any issues with that. You want to have that, especially with your thumb studs, you want to have it at a nice comfortable spot where it's not going to rip your skin off. You can see this. I had a new knife that, I don't know, I think it was just bad geometry or something, but it was ripping up my finger because when you every time you use the thumb studs, you didn't have the right angle and it would literally rip your skin. And with these little O-rings, these are 6mm O-rings, that really does help out. I mean, this could be tuned even more, but it's not my knife, so I'm not going to do that. I am going to tighten this just a little bit because I think in a play that we're doing, can feel that. Make sure it's a little tight on this side. So the angle grind is off a little bit, I think. It looks even. But the blade grind might be off a little bit because it's feeling like it's pulling to the left, but it's not. It looks, looking at the blade, and the blade looks centered. Look at the thickness of the blade to the distance to the side. On the side here, it looks centered. is it comes up this side a little bit more toward the forward on the outside. So I don't know if it's perfectly even grind on the outside of the blade. That could be part of it. This is absolutely better though. It's much more usable than it was before. I will say that. Just figuring out the reverse flick is the challenge. But I can reverse flick it. That's the key. So I'm reverse flicking it kind of like I'm doing with my MkIV Mac 2 3.5. Similar. It's a pretty strong detent, and I would say that it's a very particular type of detent that I think some people love. I think it'll wear in, for sure. So, you know, there's that. And you just have to kind of, is it acceptable, right? What I'm trying to do is get that ramp not to be super crazy. You still want to have that nice click. So you hear this? Clicks in really nicely. It's solid. No detent lash. No blade play. No pivot lash. Flip is solid over here. Can we do a reverse flick? We can. For some reason, the geometry is not going to allow itself to do it this way like I might do, like this. At least for my fingers. I have to get a little higher. I have to get up here. There we go. And I have to push out here. So it is a little stickier, I would say, than some other knives. But I think once that breaks in, it'll be really nice. Now I didn't put any oil on the detent ball. Let's put a little bit on there. See if that makes a difference also. I'm just going to get the feel of working that oil in. Alright, I think we're all set. Now, if it's my knife, I might loosen that just a little bit more. It's not my knife, and I want to make sure it's not super loose and super weak. I'm going to leave these O-rings on here. You can throw them out if he doesn't want them, obviously. But I think it's a nice little touch. It definitely feels more comfortable. Definitely feels more comfortable than just the thumb studs themselves. I like that. Put a little oil on the detent ball and detent track, and figured out which way to left hand reverse flick, which is all about the right angle coming in. Let me do that again to the knife. I think it'll get better as you use it more. Let's get over that ramp. Alright, I'll put a little oil on the blade so we can get it nice and clean. I would call that centered. It is centered overall. I wonder if it's a little grind on the tip, but there we go. This is much better. It does drop shut now. I can flick it here without it being uncomfortable. Can use the thumb studs. Make sure I come at the right angle. Right? It doesn't say anything about coming in early with the thumb studs. I mean, coming in at a different angle with the thumb studs, right? So let's back that up. I don't see any sort of guidance here on the scale and how you should come in on thumb studs. It seems like that's the right angle. It appears to be the easiest action, so that seems like a natural flow. But anytime if I go at a different angle, it's really hard. And I think that has a lot to do with the geometry of this knife. So those are things you have to consider. And for some people, it's going to be beautiful geometry. For others, you know, it may not be. I think this knife is in a much better state than it was before. My personal opinion, and also based on my conversations with the guy who owns it, what he wanted. But very cool. there we go. We're gonna, now what we have to do is we have to let that Loctite set and stick, right? So I'm just gonna put all my tools away. We will put our nano oil cap on there. Here, of course, knocking everything over. We'll put his old OEM washers in here, and I'll include that. Be my little gift to him for allowing me to borrow his knife as long as I did. So, there we go. All right, so installed Skiff washers on here. We tuned the detent a little bit here so it's not as strong. And the areas that I really feel it is especially here, access to lock bar, pushing this open before it was really, really uncomfortable. And that to me takes away from any ability to fidget with this knife. And I feel like after a while it would be uncomfortable to use. And so you want a knife to be, you know, strong, robust, but cool, right? And I think this knife has a much better chance now. I think before it was way too tough. This is more reasonable, and I think it'll keep breaking in nicer and nicer. So there you go, the VBR. Let's just confirm that. Small VBR, titanium bead blasted lava flow red carbon M390 belt satin blade steel. And if you notice, put a little bit of oil on there. It looks so much better on the blade, right? More presentation worthy. But there you go. Definitely pretty nice. All right, so that's the VBR, the small one. I think it's 3¼ inches total. So for the blade length. So if you have any questions about this, about the tuning, about some of the adjustments, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you. It's just my little way of sharing what I'm experiencing and how I experience this and how to get this knife, I believe, in a more comfortable state, and I'm feeling almost a little bit closer to what a custom might feel. I can tell you the Skiffs definitely are smoother. I mean, it's not removed all grit. I think that has a lot to do with all the different bits of data that lead up to this. All right, so I'm rambling. Let's just wrap this up. Very cool knife, fun to tune, fun to put the Skiffs in there. Like this a lot. I think it's a whole lot better. Hopefully they'll enjoy this. Definitely recommend that. Definitely recommend a little bit of tuning and some Skiff washers. I think it makes this knife a lot more enjoyable. So if you were curious on that, the size of these for the VBR, the small, it's going to be the 5mm 1/16 11 ball count. Inner diameter is 0.2, outer diameter is 0.37. The thickness of the washer itself is 0.05. So that's what you're going to be putting in there, and I think it's definitely worth it. It allows much better handling of the knife with that smaller size, and with the Skiffs, it's just comfortable. All right. Hey, if you have any questions, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, would you please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel? Subscribing and liking the channel really helps out the channel. It allows me to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you so much. I want to just really say thank you to you. If you haven't already, maybe hit that notification button down here as well so you'll be notified of future content. And finally, to all my channel members out there, I just want to say a big shout out. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate you. Appreciate all that you do. I just want you to know that. I'm very grateful. So there you go. So if you're interested in being a channel member, check out the description down below. There's 3 different levels. Love to have you. And for every new channel member, I would love to send you out a sticker. Send me your name and address to email me to robsnerdyknives@gmail.com. If I hear from you and I get your name and address, I can definitely send you out a sticker way for me to say thank you. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you're higher tiers, you get a little extra things as opposed to the lower tiers. I just want to say thank you to those of you guys who chose to do that as well. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you again for joining this video today. It was a lot of fun. Oh, one other thing for channel members, I do a once-a-month giveaway. There's a once-a-month giveaway. We already did the giveaway. If you watch this video this video is dropped in the month of March, but come up in the month of April, we'll have another channel member giveaway, along with the regular weekly giveaways. I don't do that to kind of lure you or fish hook you in. I just do that just to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who is actively participating. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Also, if you have any questions for me, just let me know. And if you haven't had a chance to follow me over at Robs_nerdy_knives on Instagram, would you please consider following me again on Instagram at Robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day, great week. Bye.